Hello students, a very warm welcome to you once again. In our today's video, we will be looking at the following phenomena. First of all, we will try to understand what is the definition of this particular thing, sociology hidden in the form of war. It means war, what sociology does it has to offer. The second, we'll be looking at the different sociological views. What does functionalism has to say? What is a conflict view? What is symbolic interactionism that is hidden? What are the different reasons that all the wars are being established? Then we'll be looking at some social impact, and then we will also try to highlight some important thinkers. What are they talking about? So let's just directly begin the definition. What is the definition of war? War is generally considered as a very organized and a designed conflict, not between just random people or groups. It's usually between larger organizations such as state, nations, etc. How do different sociologists they want to interpret this term war as? There are two ways of looking at it. One phenomena is called to be as a macro perspective. It means how war is largely seen in the form of different groups. It means if you take a look that at macro level, what does the state power has to say? What does the global dynamics, the political system has to offer? So at one, we get to see there is a macro form of sociology of war. What does the states have to say? What does the nations has to offer? And how the phenomena are present at the political system. On the other hand, the micro view is also important because we are trying to understand from an individual perspective. We are trying to understand how this war is creating a micro impact when it comes to different forms of civilians. What is the experiences which are present at the soldiers? So the definition is what generally understood as a deliberate and an organized armed conflict between distinct groups, most commonly seen as nations and states, and there are some important criteria that must be looked. Now we will try to understand what is the functional view. Is there any important function that the wars are able to play? And yes, the wars are largely responsible in creating a social cohesion of the society. The society is going to come together. They will try to coordinate. So there will be an establishment of social cohesion. And when there is a social cohesion that is being established, it also brings a common conscience. It brings a form of a common consciousness as well. So consciousness, common conscience, social cohesion is also being established. But how can you forget the conflict view? It means if functionalism is trying to highlight the positive aspects, the conflict view is trying to highlight what is the negative traits we largely see because of this wars. We get to see inequalities are being established, class disparities are being taken place. So the haves and the have-nots are going to re-establish themselves. Inequalities are going to get established. Largely, it will also bring some competitive nature as well. This competitive nature will go and it will perpetuate some enmity, and this enmity will again nothing but bring conflict within the society. So here cohesions, common conscience, common consciousness, largely we are trying to look at the positive aspects. And what are these positive aspects? Solidarity is a positive aspect. What is the negative aspect? Inequality, class disparity, differences, competitive nature, enmity between the two different groups. This is like a conflict view. I am going to be talking about thinkers, but here I am abstaining myself. I don't want to talk about that this is something like a Durkheimian view, something second is like a Marxist view. I don't want to name about. Largely I want to tell one is a functional, the another one is a conflict. Then in the form of symbolic view, we are seeing that there are different signs and symbols which are being present around. So we will see there will be a large level of bloodshed that is going to rise. There will be rise of certain kind of elites which will take place. Who are these elites? This can be in the form of dictators. There will be a hero worship, cult worship that is going to. So heroism is going to be present, and those kind of people who are basically suffering victimhoods. So example, if I talk about World War II, heroism was there. Who were the elite that had come up? These elites were basically in the form of access groups such as Hitler, he came out to be as a dictator. The fascism or the heroism of Mussolini that comes up. And if we take a look at the communal Holocaust, the Jewish people, more than 60 lakh Jewish people were killed. So this killing of the 6 million Jews is nothing but an aspect of victimhood. So symbolic interactionism says with the help of signs, symbols, different ways we are going to understand the phenomena of war. Now, what are the different reasons why these wars are taking place? One important pragmatic reason we get to see, it is for the case of economic betterment. People want to have some economic gain. Why? The Western world is very interested in the region of Iraq because they are going to get an economic gain out of it. Some wars are basically taken in the form of a political control. So if there is a political conflict that is being established, for example, the conflict which is being taken place such as an Arab Spring, so it's a political form of a conflict. They have gone against the monarchical system. They want to bring the democratic system. Some wars are being established on the basis of ideology as well. The war between the USSR and the USA is basically an ideological conflict between capitalism and communism. There are wars and conflict which is also produced even due to hyper nationalism. This over nationalism, hyper nationalism, it is also associated to the phenomena of jingoism. And then I am also going to highlight certain wars which are established, such as resource allocations which are being produced. The wars which are being produced in the form of colonialism, imperialism, or the ethnic conflicts, such as the issues which are present largely in the case of Rohingyas, in the case of Myanmar. So I can say in the fifth part, there are some other reasons how wars are also being produced. Now, what is the social impact that is being established? What are the different consequences that why wars are largely taking place? One main important reason why these wars are happening, it is creating a social impact. At an individual level, people are going to have a large level for loss of life. Individual people are going to lose their lives. That is one issue. Another, the gender dynamics or gender transformation. So the gender dynamics, gender transformation will take place. Patriarchy will become more and more weak. The women's status will increase during the condition of wars. At one level, during the ongoing in the process of war, women will become more weak. So there will be a women exploitation. They will be taken to be as hostages. Sexual exploitation will be done. Bonded labors are going to be done. So women exploitation will take place among the people who are considered to be as the losers, the have-nots. But those people who are winning the war, we get to see the gender dynamics will also take place. The patriarchy will become loose and the women empowerment will get established. For example, during the World War II, the Elizabeth, the Queen of England, she was the one who joined the war. There are many pictures that you can also see. Mass migration is also going to take place because of this mass migration. So I can also highlight mass migration will take place. So people will leave. It will be a form of an exodus. Refugee camps are going to get established. That is also. And at the larger level, we get to see there will be an infrastructural loss, social cohesion. At one end, if there is fragmentation of family systems, there is also going to be establishments of cohesion. The nationalism will touch to